Ambassador Kethvar's crystalline fingers drummed against the obsidian table as he reviewed the final assessment report. The holographic display flickered with data streams, each one confirming what the Galactic Council had suspected for months. Humanity was utterly, laughably primitive. Energy weapons based on chemical propulsion, he scoffed, his translator converting his thoughts into the common tongue. Crude metal projectiles fired from handheld tubes. Their largest vessels barely qualify as system-class frigates. The other council members, representatives from the 12 most advanced civilizations in the galaxy, nodded in agreement. The Zephyrians with their plasma manipulation technology, the Void Dancers who could fold space with their minds, the Tech Arc Collective with their planet-sized megastructures. All of them had observed the newcomers called humans and reached the same conclusion. They still use combustion engines, added Prelate Voxnil, her four eyes blinking in rapid succession, a sign of amusement among her people. Their fastest ships require decades to travel between systems. By our standards, they're barely past the Stone Age. The assessment was unanimous. Humanity would be classified as a Class 7 species. Primitive, non-threatening, suitable for limited trade agreements and cultural exchange. Nothing more. Within hours, the decision was transmitted across the galaxy. The human delegation, led by Admiral Sarah Chen, received the news with what appeared to be resigned acceptance. They packed their modest belongings, boarded their antiquated vessel, and departed the Council's capital world of Nexus Prime without protest. Curious, observed Kethvar as he watched their ship's pathetic ion drive carry them toward the jump point. Most species petition for reconsideration. These humans simply left. What? The Council didn't know. What their sophisticated sensors and quantum analysis algorithms had failed to detect was that Admiral Chen had not come to Nexus Prime seeking membership. She had come to deliver a message. 3 days after the humans departed, the first reports began trickling in from the outer rim. A Tech Arch mining facility had gone dark. A Zephyrian patrol fleet had missed its scheduled check-in. Void Dancer meditation stations scattered across 3 sectors had simply vanished. Equipment malfunctions, Kethvar assured the emergency session. Coincidence. But deep in his crystalline core, something that resembled unease began to form. By day 5, the pattern became undeniable. Across 17 sectors, advanced installations were disappearing with mechanical precision. No distress signals, no debris fields, no survivors. The attacks, for that's what they clearly were, followed no logical pattern that the Council's war algorithms could predict. They struck the most heavily defended positions while ignoring seemingly vulnerable targets. They penetrated shield systems that had never been breached, disabled weapons that had leveled planets. It's impossible, whispered Prelate Voxnil during the 6th emergency session in as many days. Our defenses are quantum encrypted. Our weapons draw power from stellar cores. How are they? The communication array erupted in alarm signals. Nexus Prime's orbital defense grid, a network of automated platforms that could vaporize asteroids, was under attack. Through the massive viewport of the Council chamber, they watched in horror as streaks of impossibly fast projectiles punched through energy shields that could deflect particle beams. The defense platforms, each one a marvel of engineering that had taken decades to construct, crumpled like paper under the assault. "Magnify Sector 7, Kethvar commanded, his voice barely a whisper. The image expanded, revealing their attackers for the first time. Ships, sleek angular vessels that moved with predatory grace through the debris field. Human ships, but not the crude, chemical-propelled craft they had observed during the diplomatic meetings. These were something else entirely. "Run spectral analysis," ordered Voxnil. "I want to know what they're using for." The readings made no sense. The human vessels showed no energy signatures that matched any known technology. No plasma conduits, no quantum cores, no gravitic manipulators. According to every sensor on Nexus Prime, the ships shouldn't even be able to move. Yet there they were, systematically dismantling the most advanced defensive network in the galaxy. As the last orbital platform exploded in silent fury, one of the human ships approached the planet's surface. It was smaller than the others, barely larger than a fighter craft by Council standards, but it descended through the atmosphere with casual confidence. The ship landed in the plaza directly outside the Council chambers, its hull still glowing from atmospheric entry. A single figure emerged, Admiral Sarah Chen, wearing the same modest uniform she had worn a week earlier. Kethavar and the other council members could only stare as she approached the sealed entrance to their supposedly impregnable fortress. The energy barriers that surrounded the building could repel anything up to and including antimatter explosions. Chen raised what appeared to be one of their primitive projectile weapons, a simple metal tube with a trigger mechanism, and fired a single shot. The barriers collapsed instantly. "Counselors," Chen said as she walked calmly into the chamber, her voice carrying clearly through the suddenly silent space. "I believe you requested a demonstration of human capabilities." Behind her, through the viewport, Nexus Prime burned. Not with the clean energy fires of advanced weapons, but with old-fashioned chemical flames that painted the sky in shades of orange and red. "You measured our technology," Chen continued, settling into the chair that had been reserved for humanity's representative. "You cataloged our weapons, analyzed our ships, studied our databases, but you missed something fundamental." She gestured toward the burning cityscape beyond the window. "You assumed that what we showed you was all we had. You couldn't conceive that a species might possess both primitive tools and advanced ones, that we might choose to use simple, reliable, undetectable methods when subtlety serves our purposes better than spectacle." Kethvar found his voice at last. The weapons. Your ships. How did you... Chemical propulsion?" Chen smiled. "Tri-controlled antimatter detonation channeled through magnetic focusing arrays that your scanners read as simple metal. Primitive projectiles? Each one was a self-guided munition with more computing power than your average Star Destroyer. You see what you expect to see, Counselor. We've learned to use that against you." The plaza outside erupted in fresh flames as another section of the city fell to the precisely orchestrated assault. "1 week," Chen said, rising from her chair. "That's how long it took us to dismantle your defenses, occupy your core worlds, and demonstrate that your primitive classification was premature." She walked toward the exit, pausing at the threshold. "The council stands dissolved as of today. Humanity will be taking over administrative duties for this sector. Don't worry, we'll be far more efficient than you were." As her footsteps echoed in the corridor beyond, Kethvar stared at the burning capital of galactic civilization and realized that humanity's greatest weapon had never been their technology at all. It had been their willingness to be underestimated.